Among Us, the game we just can't stop thinking about. Out of nowhere, the game blew up and practically took over our lives. It's fascinating to think how a game that came out in 2018 ended up becoming 2020's biggest phenomenon. Sure, we could attribute its success to the pandemic shuttering us in, but that's just one of the reasons why it blew up. If you ask us, there are tons of reasons why it blew up this year. So today we're taking a trip down memory lane and taking a look at 8 reasons why Among Us blew up in 2020. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification. Otherwise, you'll have to relive 2020 again. Okay, just kidding, but it'll help us out. Simplicity. Without a doubt, Among Us is one of the easiest games you can pick up and play. There is a learning curve to it, but that's largely due to etiquette in matches. Like knowing how to self-report or how to lie. It's stuff you'll get the hang of once you know the game like the back of your hand. If you've never played Among Us before, you'll easily be able to jump in and get the hang of it in a match or two. Mobile games these days are either super easy, like mind-numbingly easy, or they're super difficult and require tons of grinding. Among Us isn't like that at all. It's sleek and simple and easy to get the hang of, to the point where anyone can download it and become a master imposter in a matter of hours. In 2020, we were just looking for something simple to take our minds off things, but not something that insulted our intelligence, Among Us was simple and easy, but it also had a challenge for those of us that wanted it. One of the reasons why it's so easy to play is because we're so familiar with some of the games that inspired it, and the Inner Sloth team did a fantastic job of modernizing an old formula. A modern take. Games like Among Us have been around for decades, just not online. You see, Among Us is pretty much just Werewolf or Mafia with a different coat of paint. Werewolf or Mafia are party games that focused on social deception, just like Among Us. Except you'd play these games in real life, sometimes with a board game. Of course, you can't necessarily recreate the same deceptive nature those games brought in our digital world. Luckily, Among Us took the ideas those games had and pretty much turned it into a casual, quick-to-play video game, essentially digitalizing the older formula. It's actually genius, really, because games like Mafia and Werewolf haven't been popular in years. With Among Us popularity, we've seen a resurgence in party games that aren't just nonsensical. In fact, one of the reasons the game blew up so much because it was a quick way to play a pretty complex game. Quickie. Unlike other party or online games that require tons of planning and playing time, Among Us is unique in that you can hop in and play a game for 5 minutes and then just be done with it. Most matches in Among Us are super short, to the point where you can play around while you're waiting to catch the bus. The quickness of each game led it to becoming a super popular game in a landscape that's dominated by long, complex games that don't necessarily value your time. Another reason why the game blew up so much was because it ended up beating the competition. Fall Guys falls flat. Remember Fall Guys? Sure you do. The game where you knocked one another over to be the last one standing? That game absolutely blew up during the summer of 2020 because everyone was shuttered inside, and it provided gamers a great co-op experience. Plus, it was free with PlayStation Plus, which allowed millions of players to get in on the action. Well, just as Fall Guys was blowing up, so was Among Us. Among Us had the advantage of being on more accessible platforms, like your smartphone and laptop, and could be downloaded by virtually everyone. And plus, it was way easier to play. Eventually, people began to stream Among Us even more, and Fall Guys' novelty dried up. Naturally, Among Us ended up winning the so-called competitive co-op quarantine wars because it was just getting more traction. Don't get us wrong, we love Fall Guys here at Game Planet, but Among Us definitely swooped in at the right time and took care of its competition. Speaking of competition, let's talk about how many friendships ended over Among Us. You've got an imposter in me. Let's be real, 2020 was particularly difficult. because we couldn't go out to bars or movies with your buddies. Instead, we were forced to stay home. Among Us really capitalized on that general loneliness we all felt, and it ended with a co-op experience that was simple and easy. Now that's all fine and dandy, but one of the biggest reasons why this game blew up was because it turned friends against each other. The suspenseful, detective-driven approach to the game made it really special and addictive because you never knew if your friends were imposters or crewmates. This added tons of levity to the game because not only did it let you hang out with your friends, but you also couldn't trust them. It was a super unique experience that we still can't get enough of. Heck, streamers couldn't get enough of it either. Stream it. This is one of the reasons why the game got so popular. Streamers couldn't stop playing it. Yeah, the game came out in 2018, but it was only in 2020 when it blew up. Thanks to streamers like SodaPoppin and XQC who broadcasted it to millions. Naturally, if an influencer is marketing something, people are gonna hop in on the trend, especially if the game is dirt cheap or free to play. The gaming community immediately latched onto the game once big streamers started playing it. Of course, the game's streams became popular because it allowed streamers to play the game with their friends, which gave players like us that exact same idea. Now, we love Twitch, but it can be a bit of an echo chamber sometimes. The game took on a whole new set of players once non-streamers started streaming it. Celebs can't get enough. So yes, we can definitely point out streamers as one of the reasons why Among Us blew up, but we want to focus solely on celebrities. Among Us got super big in the gaming community to the point where anyone with access to the internet got curious about the game. In the late summer, we saw tons of celebrities like US Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and rapper Logic streaming the game to record breaking numbers. At that point, even non-gamers began to hop in on the trend because their favorite celebrities were playing the game. And as a nice loop around, the game got even more traction from non-gamers because of how accessible and easy to play it was. With every pop culture news story focusing on Among Us in the summer, it's no surprise how big it got, especially when it was practically free. For free. Most mobile games these days are pretty much free to play, but in reality are pay to win. Sure, you can waste some time with them, but they're largely forgettable. Among Us is far from forgettable, and it's mind-blowing how the game is free to play on smartphones. Seriously, we've sunk dozens of hours in the game, and we didn't even have to pay a dime for it. It's actually super impressive. Sure, you gotta pay $5 to play it on the Switch or on Steam, but that's practically chump change compared to the amount of hours you're gonna drop in the game. With such a low, cheap price point, it's no surprise that Among Us turned away into a runaway success. And it also helps that the devs committed itself to bringing players free updates throughout its popularity, meaning Among Us will continue to grow and get better over time without charging players for it. A pretty sweet deal, don't you think? Well, there you have it, folks. A look back into how Among Us practically dominated the game world in 2020. We're hoping the love for the game continues throughout 2021. Let us know in the comments what your favorite Among Us moment was. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, and hit that notification button too. It really helps us out. We'll see you next time on Game Planet.